Hi folks, I wanted to do a video update. It's been a while since I did the last one. I have been writing more, or I was for a couple of weeks, and then I went back to work and was very, very busy, and so stopped. But you can find what I've been writing at Janet's blog, thisbugslife.com. I will link it. But anyway, that's been really fun. I've always been a letter writer, and I write a lot professional. I write a lot of stuff at work, proposals and reports and stuff, but I haven't ever really tried to sort of write for a larger audience. I dabbled around with a Tumblr for a while, but I never really got kind of into the flow of it. And I had started reading Janet's blog, and I really thought it was fun how she kind of just talked about anything. It was a lot of planners, it was a lot of stuff like that, but it was also every other part of her life, and I thought that that was really cool. And so I thought it would be fun to kind of join in, and she was very happy to have me, so that's been fun. Give them a look if you've not seen them already. But I'm really here today to talk about, I have decided to try again to split my work and personal planning. If you've been following me, you know I've gone back and forth on this many times. Pardon me, like reach to grab. I'm running everything out of my Winchester right now. It works fine, but it gets rather distracting. I mean, you know, this is what Wednesday looked like by the end of the day. And, you know, so I'm not running out of space in this, but I am finding that I like having everything in one book because everything is together. I can see everything at a glance. I really love using the 2-page per day diary, if we get back there again. Because I can, like, really, it forces, I open to today's page every day. That's when I sit down, I just immediately grab that page marker and just get to my day page. And it's better to show one that, yes, like this. So I can get to, this is tomorrow, but I can get to the day page, and it forces me to kind of focus on what I'm doing today. I'm not seeing things that I need to do tomorrow. I'm not seeing things that I did yesterday that may not be finished. I'm not worrying about those. I give a look early in the day. I do a look late in the evening to sort of look at, review today, move anything to tomorrow that needs to be done tomorrow. Anything that I don't need to deal with tomorrow, I just put on a list perhaps to do next week. But during the day, this really helps me focus on just getting through today. Do today's stuff today. Don't worry so much about other days. And that's really good discipline for me because I'm so distractible. What I found, though, as I've been really working this system, and really, I mean, I've been really sort of squeezing the juice out of my system lately, really doing like comprehensive weekly reviews and good, thorough daily reviews as well, really keeping stuff together, keeping balls moving. And as I do that, I find I tend to have so much work stuff on the page, it's very difficult for me to see and prioritize my personal stuff when I'm not at work. Also, when I am at work, having sort of a task list that intermingles personal and work stuff together is also kind of distracting. It's like I'll be looking through my, I've just finished something, I look at my task list to see what I need to do next. And when I do that, I see something personal related and I start thinking about that. So I think in my quest to eliminate distractions and help myself focus as best I can, I have enough distractions that just come at me anyway. I think that separating the planners will really help me accomplish that. And I think because I've become pretty disciplined about those daily and weekly reviews, I think that I can keep separate planners working together. I wrote a post on Janet's blog about how I intend to make this work. So go read that. I'm not going to rehash all of that, but just sort of, loosely speaking, this will continue to soldier on as my primary planner, and it's going to be my personal planner, but it's going to be my, master scheduling planner, too. Christy from Gift Etc. Really kind of helped. Her posts about setting up a work planner really helped me kind of process through all of this. So I'll try to link to her blog and her channel here on YouTube also, so that you can check her stuff out. But I think that sort of she described it in a way that sort of helped me wrap my head around it. I don't think I'm handling it exactly the same way that she is, but similar. So what I need to do, though, my work days are generally, it's a pretty standard 8-hour day, 5 days a week. I do tend to work longer than 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, but I will, I don't set my schedule, it is set for me, and I will, as it is released to me, pencil it into my personal planner, block off the hours. I know I'm at work. If I have something really pressing, if I need to, if there's an event that's happening that I need to be dressed up more for, or something like that, I might jot a note about that in that block so that when I'm home and I look at that, I see, oh yeah, today's the day I need to be suited up or whatever. But for the most part, it'll just be work. Work will be an appointment in my planner just the same way as a doctor's appointment or any other kind of scheduling thing. It'll just be marked off on there. The hours will be blocked off, so I know I'm at work. Anything that I do within that day, I will have to refer to my work planner. I'm still not sure about whether the work planner is going to entirely remain at work, which was my initial thought, was I'm just going to leave it at work, I'm not going to worry about it. Or if it's going to travel home. I was talking to my boss, who does run a bifurcated paper system. She does a lot of stuff paperless, but she's also using a lot of paper. And she was saying she does, not every day, but she does fairly frequently, does find she wants to bring her workbook home. And so, I can do that. It doesn't need to necessarily, if there's something that I do intend to do from home, I can bring it home. But I think a big thing is that because I work with some sensitive information, and I am a government employee, so everything is covered under Freedom of Information law, and basically everything in my work planner is public information. I think it's best to plan to leave it at work, or even if it does come home, not to have it out and about with me. I think something that made me very nervous was if this is my one book, and this basically goes pretty much everywhere with me, and I'm pretty careful about not putting sensitive or confidential or privileged information into it, or if it's in there, it is so coded that I don't think anyone would understand what it says. But I would hate, if I went out with a friend and left this at a bar, it would be a big deal. Even if it didn't actually mean that anything was breached, I would have to own up to the fact that I did it, and it would be a big deal. And so I think to some degree having a separate work planner that doesn't go out on social things with me is a good thing. And I think even though it's going to be a whole lot of work to get myself to get the system set up and keep it working, I think it's going to be a good thing for me to do. And I think I'm ready to do it now. And I think when I tried it in the past, it was a pretty half-assed attempt. I didn't really kind of just decide I'm going to make this work. I'm going to work it out. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to stick through the hurdles. I'm going to figure out ways to work with them. It was just sort of I would set it up, and I would start using it, and I hadn't really thought it through, and within a few weeks, I started to lose my mind because it was so frustrating. So anyway, I'll stop flashing this now. Isn't it pretty? I love this color. So I decided to go with the work planner. An initial thing that I wanted to do, and I can't show it to you because it is at work, I bought a monarch-sized Franklin Quest. It is humongous. It takes full U.S. letter-sized paper, so 8.5 by 11 sheets. It has 7 rings. They are 1 3/4 inch rings, so I assume I can probably fit about 500 pages in this binder, maybe more than that. And the great convenience is that like all those work documents that just spit out effortlessly on 8.5 by 11 paper, I just click print, I punch, and I insert. I was going to use, so this is a scheduling book, and that is kind of my work reference, records, files for active projects. All that stuff would just be in it, so it's all together. It's in something relatively portable, so I can carry it into a meeting. But what I realized when I started using it is that it really is too big. When you open it on your desk, it takes up so much real estate, and the pages are almost so big that it's hard for me to focus on them. They're just so much there, and so and I'm so used to writing on smaller pages that I don't use the space well. When I'm taking notes, I tend to take them now in vertical strips. So I actually have started taking 2 vertical strips. When I use that size paper to take notes, I just write kind of in 2 columns down the page, which is silly. So, but it is very convenient, and it looks, I posted something on one of the groups on Facebook yesterday. It's like, it's so much of an ego massage. It's like, you march purposefully into a meeting with this huge black leather binder, and you go kerplunk on the table. It's like this thud, this like substantial book full of stuff, and you open it up and you just like, you look so with it, like all your stuff is like organized and tabbed and together. It has a big secretarial pocket in the front that I've just been sort of shoving all of my unprocessed paper that comes at me into. So like, and every day I go through that. So it's like a getting things done inbox. I go through it every day. I like sort it out. I figure out what to do with it. It's great, but it's humongous, and it's really kind of inconvenient, both in the amount of space it takes up when it's open on a table or a desk, but also it's too big. Like it's just not manageable. So I also decided that I really do think that, like I was saying, it's best for me to put my scheduling and task management in the same book that I'm using as my record book. So I decided, if you don't already know, I ordered a Von der Spek A5 organizer. I will link their website too. They are a small leatherworking company in the Netherlands near Rotterdam. And again, if you look at Janet's blog, which I'm already linking you to, you can see she owns one of these. It's scrumptious, just a beautiful, beautiful piece of work, and it was rather expensive from my perspective. I know a lot of people buy the Giglio planners, and they cost a lot more than this, so for them it probably seems like a bargain. It actually seems like there's this huge interest in these Von der Spek binders now. But a lot of it looks like it's people who are really excited by the fact that the idea that they can get something kind of comparable to a Giglio at a lower price point. So they're asking for Giglio features in the Von der Spek product. Wait, do what you want. People, it's like, and I'm sure that the folks at Von der Spek are very happy to get the business. So I think that's great. I just ordered a very much like their standard binder, and I ordered it in one color, and it has 35 millimeter rings, so that's almost 1.5 inch. So that's I've used that before. It's a good size. It is an A5 binder. You have heard me talk about A5 binders before. I don't usually like them. I find them too big, and I find a lot of the Filofax ones that I just don't. The proportions of the binder don't look right to me. Filofax puts the same size closure strap on all of the sizes of a binder. So like an A5 Malden has the same closure strap as a mini Malden. I mean, they might be longer, but it's the same height, and I'm tongue-tied today. Anyway, I think you know what I mean. It's basically the same strap is going on everything single size. Of course, Von der Spek, as far as I can tell, basically does the same thing, but their A5 binder, the big chunky strap closure that they put on it, looks perfectly proportioned to the binder. There's Filofax, the closure might look perfectly proportioned on a pocket or a personal. When you put that same one on an A5, it looks dinky. I don't know why things like this bother me, but they do. So, but anyway, they are. Most of my big complaint about A5s, though, is that they're just too big. And I've never actually owned an A5 Filofax, but I have owned a desk size daytimer. And I just found it was just too big. But because this is going to be a work planner, and I don't think it's going to travel outside of the office that often, when it does travel around at work, it's mostly traveling around in my in my hands or tucked under my arm indoors. I think that I'm able to work with the size better. I did mock it up. Like, I found a similar size book in the collection at work that I just sort of picked up and I just carried around with me for most of a day one day, just to sort of see, like, how does this work? And it's fine. And I think especially if the new binder has reasonably stiff covers, like, this one is not bad. It's, it's got give, but it's not floppy. I do not like floppy binders. People seem to like floppy binders. I do not like floppy binders. And I particularly don't like floppy binders at work because I do have my planner in my hand. Sometimes I do need to take a note while I'm running around. I do not want to go try to find a table to do that at. I want the binder to have enough structure that I can write in it without, I want it to have that stiffness, structure. It's a practical consideration as well as an aesthetic one. I like the binder to look like a book. The sort of pillowy looking ones that sort of bend and flex and look puffy when you fill them up, squishy, they don't look like a book to me. They look like a floppy piece of leather wrapped around some paper, and I really, aesthetically, that drives me bananas. And for some reason, I'm not that fastidious about most things in my life, but for some reason about my binders, I really am extremely picky. So, anyway, A5, I immediately realized I want 2 pages per day. Well, of course, it doesn't look like anyone makes 2 pages per day. Filofax does make a 2 pages per day that you can buy from Filofax UK, the Time Manager design. But when I finally decided, yes, I'm going to go with that one, and I went to buy it, they had sold out. And so then I Googled like crazy all over the place, everyone who had them listed for sale. When you went and looked, they were all out of stock. So I don't know if Filofax is planning to make another run of them, but I just said whatever. So I scoured looking for others. I found lots of day per page, but I didn't find day to view. So I finally, go look at your Filofaxy resources. We've got those wonderful printables that Ray and Steve made. Now, in personal size, it's kind of a pain in the butt because there's so much cutting involved, but in an A5, you're just cutting one piece of A4. I live in the United States. A4 paper is difficult to find. There is cheap junk available at Staples made by Hammermill. It's like 75 GSM paper, 20-pound weight. And it's just, I didn't think that was going to do it for what I want. The other option that I found, Tracy from the Crazy Suburban Mom pointed out that you can buy Clairefontaine 100 GSM paper by the 100 pack. It was very, very expensive, but this is what it is. It is the Clairefontaine DCP, Digital Color Printing. It is 100 GSM paper. It is lovely stuff. Gorgeous. It cost, this 100 pack cost me $11. I bought 4 of them with shipping. It came out to about $57 for 400 sheets of A4, so it is not cheap at all. I did the math. I don't know if I did it right because I'm not gifted at that. I'm better at it, but I'm still a little insecure of my skills at math. But it looks like for 400 sheets of A4 is 800 sheets of A5, and at that, it looks like it comes out to about 7 cents per page, or per leaf of paper. I don't know how that compares to other things. I don't think it's terrible at that, when you get to that point. So, you know, basically 100 sheets of A5 cost me about $7. It's not cheap. It is lovely paper. The other thing is that I found initially when I first mocked up the printables, the 2-page per day A5 size that Ray and Steve made, I thought it was the page was a little too cluttered for me. But then I went in and I redid it, and so let me just I printed these out yesterday, so let me see if you guys can see these. So this is what I ended up with. So I'm sorry, you're getting the mirrored image. What a pain in the butt. But anyway, you can see this page is timed from 8 a.m. to 10 through the hour of 10 p.m. So I can get my workday. Frequently, I work until 11 p.m. So I can actually get my whole workday on this. I almost never start before 8. And you'll see I divided this into, I put a narrow column on this side. So I like to keep track of, so I will sketch out my plan for the day the evening before, but then as things pop up during the day, sometimes I end up doing something different from what I plan to do. And I like to kind of note that rather than scratching out this or erasing it and replacing it, I like to actually just note what I actually did end up doing, even though it wasn't what I planned to do. And it helps me see, like, this is the reason why I didn't get everything done, because this other thing cropped up. The other thing is that sometimes I am scheduled for one thing, but I actually need to be aware of something else that is going on concurrently. So this gives me space to accommodate both of those concerns. So if you look at Ray and Steve's, this is very much just their architecture. I just tweaked it a little bit, but they have kind of a heavy black border around the scheduling block and around this calendar view and date. And I just took the eraser tool and the tables thing in Microsoft Word and just wiped it out. I think there was a line dividing between this time column where the hours are listed. I just wiped that too. So I got, and I think I lightened the grayscale a little bit on this printing, so it became pretty minimalistic. So this is your left-hand page, and then this one is the right. So this one, it looks pretty different. Theirs had, again, it was divided into 2 boxes with notes written vertically or tasks and notes. I removed the labels because this is mine, so I'll know what to do with it. And they also had tick boxes to check off when you got tasks done. I'll check something off if I get it done, but if I don't get it done, when I actually move it to a future date, I put an arrow indicating that I forwarded it. And if I delegated, I put the initials of the person I delegated it to. And if it's like I started it but it's not done yet, I put a dot. So I use all those Franklin Covey symbols, and they're very much a habit for me now. So I just made a column where I can write all that stuff. I can put all those little symbols in, and then so I've got, I think, 15 lines of that. And then down here is just open note space, which I realize, like, on a very busy day where I have a lot of tasks to do, I can just keep listing them straight down the page, which is what I usually end up doing. If it's really, really busy and I'm just sort of banging through a huge to-do list, I don't take very many notes. On the other hand, on days that I might be sitting in meetings a lot and don't have as many tasks scheduled, I take a lot of notes. And I think that by making all of this stuff pretty subtle, it gives me some flexibility to use the page the way that I need it to work that day. So anyway, it was a bit of trial and error to get all of this printed properly. I didn't waste too much paper, but it was like every time I had to waste a piece of paper, I was just kind of like, oh my god, it's so expensive. But anyway, so I got, just as an initial run, I did, this is about 6 weeks worth, so it's not thin, it is 100 GSM paper, but it's beautiful. I was a little bit concerned because it has a very, very smooth finish on it, so I wasn't sure. Of course, fountain pens work beautifully, but I wasn't sure about how everything else did. So I did. I actually use pencil a lot, and I'm a little bit concerned. I noticed that some very smooth paper it's hard to get a nice bold. When you write on it with pencil, it's like writing on plastic with a pencil. It just doesn't leave much mark. So I tested it out. It actually looks fine. This is a 0.5. So that's kind of a sharper point on it. This is my 0.7 pencil. So that's a little bit light. That's the one I usually use because it doesn't break as easily. But not bad, right? Not bad. Fountain pen, this is an EF Lamy Safari with Pilot Blue ink, which I love. It's not expensive. It is not easy to find, though. It is pretty waterproof, and it doesn't seem to. It's well behaved on most paper, and most importantly, it is not expensive, and it is just a regular color. I know a lot of people like to use lots of fancy colors, but I've really found I am a blue ink guy. So I have blue fountain pen, and I have a black gel pen. This is I don't have it here to show you. This is my Zebra G301, I think it is. It's a stainless steel barrel. You can buy them at Staples here in the U.S. for like $5 for 2. And I can buy refills for about $1 each from Jet Pens. So when I'm putting in an order for other stuff at Jet Pens, I just order a bunch of those too. I find the refills last me about 2 weeks. And I use these. This is like the ink that I use most extensively. I use it a lot. So isn't this crazy? God, this week was crazy. Anyway, so, and this, if you're wondering, this is one of the sheets of paper that when I went to cut it, I actually cut it a little bit off, so it's like I have one page slightly bigger than A5 and one that's slightly smaller. So I just kept those to use as some scrap paper. Nice scrap paper, right? The punch. I was going to show you guys the punch. Oh, it's not here. Hold on, I'm going to go get it. 2 seconds. Okay, I'm back. This punch I bought from Japan. I will link... this is a totally adjustable punch. It does everything from a pocket or mini size file effects to an A5 size, and I didn't own any kind of A5 punch, so I was excited to get one. I needed to get one, and whoops, what is this? Anyway, this punch was reviewed by Rebecca. I will link her video showing sort of a comprehensive explanation of this punch. But I ordered it from... I followed Rebecca's link. I ordered it from a company in Japan. I put my PayPal information in. They processed my order. They contacted me with a complete quote with including the shipping cost, which was fairly. The punch itself came out to about $19 with the exchange rate. The shipping added about another $19 to it, so it's expensive shipping. But I went with it anyway because it seemed like the best option that was available. It is a nice punch, and so all things together, it came out to like $38 shipped. I paid for it on, I think it was either Tuesday night or Wednesday, and I got it on Friday, yesterday, which I think is amazing. Like, how the hell did they get this thing here so fast? It's unreal. I mean, I've bought stuff from like 3 states away in the United States that's taken much longer than that to get here. So that's pretty cool. If you're an instant gratification person, this is not going to disappoint you. I don't know if that's normal or if this was an anomaly, but I was very pleased. The only thing I don't like about it is that I like a hole punch that I can just slide the paper in and have it hit a page guide at the end, so you get very consistent hole punching. This one does have a mark indicating the middle of the page. The A5 page actually sticks out about a centimeter on either end of this, and you really just need to eyeball it, which I did, and I got pretty consistent results. If I get my paper back together, you can see, not bad, right? Not bad. But because I'm a little anal about my planners and I like everything to be punched evenly, cut evenly, perfect. It was a little, I wish it had that, but other than that, the fact that I can do all of these different hole spacings, so you can also do the hole spacing for whatever it's called, the mulberry hole spacing. You can do, so it's like a Rapesco, but then it also does A5, so that's pretty cool. My Rapesco is defective, and I found it even more. One block of punches is actually aligned a little closer to the front of the punch than the other one, so you get one set of holes here and another set of holes. They're like not perfectly lined up. But I found the Rapesco even more difficult in terms of getting consistent hole spacing because it didn't have this center guideline. But anyway, so I'm pretty excited about the punch. What else? The Van der Spek is coming to me with a full insert set, so I think I'm going to set it up the same way that I've got the Winchester with a week on 2 pages for future planning and the day on 2 pages for daily planning. And I found it's really easy if you've got a document, at work, if I just export it to PDF and then resize it for A5, the print gets pretty tiny, but I have good eyesight, I have good close-up vision, thankfully. Far away is a little crappy, glasses help, so, but my near field vision is very good, so I don't have any trouble reading very small print. And for my kind of, just sort of having all of those documents. I don't think I'm going to use this fancy paper that costs so much for just outputting work stuff. If I'm not planning to write on it, if it's just going to be record keeping, I think that I'm going to just buy some of that cheap junk from Staples and have that cut to A5 and just keep that at work to just print out, Word documents, PDFs, whatever, charts, diagrams, spreadsheets, all that crap that, I'm not going to write on it, or I might write on it a little bit, but it's not, its primary purpose is mostly just for reference. So, anyway, I've talked to you for 35 minutes, which is a really long video. Hope this all made sense, hope it wasn't too boring, and I'll talk to you next time. Hope everybody's well. Leave me a comment if you have any questions, whatever. And thanks for watching. Sorry it's been so long since my last video, and I'll try to remember to get all these links done for you. Take care. Bye-bye.